Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Feed and Focus for Remote Work and Digital Nomads podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Brain Mastery Academy and your brain coach, Angela Shurina. And we are here with a purpose to learn all the brain tools you can use to feel, do, and look your absolute best, guys. It's all in your brain. It's the most sophisticated machine in the entire universe. And once we understand how to work with it, not against it, things in life, all of the things that we want to do, get a whole lot easier. Our conversations range from lifestyle to environment, workspace, living space design, to nutrition, to nootropics, to all kinds of hacks, behavior and habits hacks to, again, be more in control of your brain, understand how it works, and use it with a purpose to help yourself achieve goals that you want to achieve and build the life experience that you want to experience, right? Today, as promised, we are talking about routines, specifically morning routine for hyper focus. Yesterday, we talked about how you can use your environment to almost bulletproof your long-term focus, your focus on long-term goals that we as humans by default are not that great at. And there is a good reason for that, right? So if you are curious about that reason and curious about how you can use your living, your working space to help yourself to stick with your long-term goals and projects, then please listen to that episode that we did yesterday. Today, we're talking about morning routine that is based on research, based on data. Morning routine that will help you to increase your focus by a lot. I like to call this state hyper focus. But also these very simple habits will help you to get into focus when you wake up and you don't feel like getting into focus. You wake up and you're like, oh man, just not feeling it. I wish I could stay in bed. Those things will happen for one reason or the other. Hopefully, when you learn how to optimize your lifestyle, those things will happen less and less often, but they will still happen. It's just life. How it goes, no matter how perfect we try to be. Some of us do try to do that, right, in one area or the other. Life will still throw us curveballs to challenge us a little bit, to test us. Can you handle this? You thought you were that good? How about that? Can you handle that, right? So on those mornings, this routine is crucial. Otherwise, you just won't get anything done. And maybe that will be one of those days when you need to get it done, where you need to show up. Like maybe it's your day of public talk, or maybe some dance performance, or maybe some important sales speech or presentation, right? Maybe this is the day where you have to show up. You have no choice. And these are the tools that for sure you can use and you need to use to put yourself into a much better composed and focused state to deliver the best that you can possibly deliver on that day, to have an opportunity to express the genius and the talent that you've built on, developed, and maybe had naturally. So very simple routine, guys, super simple. 2 things I recommend to never skip them. And 2 other things, sometimes you can skip them, but if you do want to be and do your best as often as possible, I almost never skip any of these 4 things. But 2 of them for sure do not skip. If you skip those, there is a huge chance that you're going to struggle with focus, you're going to struggle with motivation, you're going to struggle with energy, your sleep going to suffer, and your even hunger and appetite and your mood. A lot of things will just not be where they could be, because this is kind of like our biological need. So what are those 2 things to never skip? Number 1, get outside and get sun exposure. Get that sun into your eyes in the natural environment. Ideally, that sunlight that you're getting into your eyes, it's not through some shadow. For sure, you need to get outside. Behind the window, it's never going to be the same. You're going to have to spend like hours by that window to even have a chance to get similar effect. And by the time you are spending hours by that window, it's already the time when the sun doesn't really have the potency to create this brain chemistry to give you this focus and motivation and drive and energy. So in the morning, in the first couple of hours of waking, get outside. If it's bright, 5 minutes, 10 minutes is enough. If it's kind of cloudy, then probably 15, 20 minutes. If it's super, super dark and it's winter, probably 30 minutes outside. Just figure out some errand, something you can do outside and spend that time outside. It will transform your day and your sleep also. So get outside in the first couple of hours of waking, guys. In the first couple of hours of sunrise, let me be clear, because timing matters. Everything that I learned from neuroscientists, from all kinds of research about circadian biology, our biorhythms, the way our brain works, timing does matter, because the position of the sun is different at different times of the day, and the colors of the sky are also different, and your brain, your eyes, they do notice that, right? So get outside in the first couple of hours of sunrise. And then without sunglasses, without a hat that can cast a shadow over your eyes. So this is number one, non-negotiable. Do not skip it, guys. Do not skip it. Try to do it as often as possible. Andrew Huberman, my favorite neuroscientist out there, recommends at least 80% of the time. So sunlight in the morning. Number two, exercise. Exercise, guys, it stimulates blood-brain flow. It stimulates blood flow to all of your organs and tissues. It stimulates oxygenation of all of your organs and tissues. It's kind of gets everything moving. We are designed to move. If we don't move, we literally start dying slowly. Like health deteriorates a lot by you being immobile. Exercise, movement is very important. And a lot of neurotransmitters are stimulated and enhanced by movement, by exercise. My best explanation or interpretation of the literature is that you don't have to do a lot. What you gotta do is gonna make your heart pump faster for maybe like 5-10 minutes enough. I like to tell people, just make yourself sweat, right? If it's outside, even better, right? I have a balcony that faces the sunrise spot. And so sometimes when I don't have that much time in the day, I just do some exercise right there on the balcony, exposing myself to light and doing some burpees or some push-up crunches and squats and jumps, all that kind of stuff. Just make yourself sweat and get the sunlight. If you do go to the gym like I did this morning, what I do, I go to the gym and it's still dark. When I go out to the gym, it's the exact hour I need to be outside, and I do my morning stroll for 20 minutes and I get my sun and I get my exercise. So those two things, exercise, high intensity, I always say that just make yourself sweat. Do something that makes you sweat. Unless you're in a sauna, then get out of the sauna and do something that makes you sweat outside the sauna. So sun and exercise, those two things, do not skip them. Do them every day. Even if you do your main workout later in the day, start your day with a little bit of exercise, with a little bit of sweating. So those two things, do not skip them, especially on the important days. Whenever I follow someone on Instagram, a public speaker, before every event, all of them, like no exception, they do a workout. And you know why? Not because they need to be fitter for the event, obviously, but because they know how it changes their brain and they need to be on their A game on that day. And so on that day, when seemingly you have so many things to do, right, and worry about, they do not skip their workout. And before my last public talk, I also did not skip my workout. I'm like, today is the day. Workout is not skippable. So on the days when you especially need it, your workout, your sun exposure, do not skip those, no matter how little time you have left. That will change your brain state, that will change your brain chemistry, and you're going to be a completely different person than if you were not to do them. Two other things that I do every single morning, and they're super powerful as well. But if you don't have time, if you're not into that, maybe you're already feeling pretty good and you don't feel like you need this extra boost, then maybe skip it on some days. I do highly recommend those things because they are researched well. Like, for example, cold shower, the next one, or any sort of cold exposure, might be cold bath, right? Very powerful stimulator of dopamine and norepinephrine. Those two molecules give you the drive, the motivation, and the energy to pursue things. And they're also very powerful focus enhancers, focus boosters, right? So cold shower, if you are like myself, cold shower fan, and you don't have cold plunge like cold bath, that works more in a more effective manner, then get in the cold shower, and you can start with hot, but then turn on cold, and stay there as long as you can safely without, damaging yourself in any way. So cold shower, very powerful booster of dopamine and norepinephrine. Again, those two molecules that give you motivation, drive, and energy and enhance your focus a lot. And the last is more about chemicals, literal chemicals that you consume. So caffeine and alpha GPC, that is a supplement that I'm taking that is research-based, helps with focus a lot, helps with memory, helps with learning, with also creativity, sleep, etc. A lot of things. So caffeine, the trick is don't overdo it. If you put yourself in a jittery space where you kind of like very energetic but can't focus on anything, that is not the sweet spot with caffeine for you. I'm very caffeine sensitive. So what I do, I have my 4-cup coffee maker, and for each cup, I put a tablespoon of coffee, and I put 3 spoons of decaf and 1 spoon of caffeinated coffee. And I also do take matcha powder, half a teaspoon. So that will probably put me in a spot of maybe around 100 milligrams of caffeine, maybe a little bit less. But if I do more, I do get on the jittery side, and it's harder for me to focus. Yeah, I have a lot of energy, but I'm kind of like all over the place, just jumping from one thing to another and not really being present fully and deeply for the task, especially for the harder tasks that require more focus. So caffeine, don't overdo it. If you are jittery and all over the place, you did overdo it. And alpha GPC is a supplement, again, recommended by my favorite neuroscientist, Andy Huberman. Alpha GPC, 300 milligrams. That's usually the dosage that you will find it at per pill. 300 milligrams about 20 minutes before your workout will help you with focus. And these are the things that I would do, all of them, on the days when I need to show up, when I need to be my best, but especially if I wake up and I'm not feeling like it and I still need to show up, I do not skip any of them. Doesn't matter how much time I have, because it's better to show up for a little bit less time, but with your full intensity, with your full capacity to focus and deliver your work, than save, let's say, 20 minutes for all of these routines, but then struggling through all of these hours and barely making any progress, right? So always think about that, those trade-offs. And guys, that's about it. That's your hyper-focused routine based on real studies, very good data. They work. Do not skip 2. Again, sun and exercise every day. Make your sweat and get some sun into your eyes. And 2, to other cold shower and the chemicals that you consume, caffeine and alpha GPC, I take them every day on the days when I have my full day of work. I don't do them on my weekends. And if I'm again on the day when I need to show up fully 100%, I do not skip any of them for sure. If you have any questions about these routines, please feel free to reach out via email, angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com, or on Instagram at 1000yearyoung, where, by the way, I'm going to be making a video about this routine. Already made part of it. A couple of parts still need to shoot. Check out our Brain Mastery Academy. Check out all the modules on the focus, on motivation and anti-procrastination to manage burnout and brain nutrition. That is, by the way, brain body nutrition, helping you to maintain fit and focused brain and body. Creativity, learning, all of that is there. Managing your anxiety and increasing your confidence, right? mybrainmastery.com. That is where the Brain Mastery Academy is located. And stay focused, guys. don't skip this routine. Try it for many days in a row and see how much better, in a more focused, in a more productive fashion, your mornings will go. Try it. Let me know how it went for you. And till next time, stay focused.